Is this the best restaurant at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort? Known for its amazing food and whimsical Mary Poppins theming, today we'll be hitting up one of the most beloved and potentially underrated restaurants in Citricos. Obviously, the Grand Floridian has some amazing places to dine, including my favorite restaurant, Narcoossee's. After countless people requesting a review and constant comparisons to Narcoossee's, today we'll be dining at the resort's other signature restaurant, Citricos. At the end of this video, I'll be letting you know whether or not I think this restaurant is a must-dine, addressing the comparisons to Narcoossee's, and letting you know ultimately which one I think is better. Now, I used to absolutely love Citricos. Actually, during my college program back in 2018, cast members used to get 40% off of this restaurant, so naturally I came here quite often. But since then, Citricos went under a major retheme and reopened in 2021 with an all-new look and an all-new menu. Since then, my favorite dish of all time, the scallops risotto, was unfortunately removed from the menu, and honestly, I just haven't found anything as good as that since, so I just don't come back as often. But this time around, I've got a bunch of recommendations on what I should order, so I'm hoping this restaurant kind of gets back into my must-visit list. Let's head inside and see. All right, I've made my way to my table. Now, upon checking in, I did request a table by a window, and man, did I get a table by the window. The view from my table is absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you. Oh, look at that. We could see both buildings in the Grand, a little bit of the quiet pool. This restaurant is just beautiful. This view, this is like the perfect view for dinner. I love it. Dinner and a view. This restaurant is only open for dinner service. They open at 5 o'clock. I had a 5 o'clock on the dot reservation, got here a little bit before, and the restaurant doors weren't even open yet, so that was actually pretty funny. I got here very early. Usually I'm like 2 minutes late, but today I was right on time, even early. But I did that on purpose because I wanted to come early and make sure that I got a good table by the window here. You guys know, I always love getting a table by a window, and I'm happy they were able to set it up today. Now we've got our classic Disney glasses ready to go. I swear, Disney loves these cups. Any restaurant they could put them in, they're in. And if you know, you know. You've probably seen these around. I always have to point it out. But we're going to take a look over the cocktails. We're just going to get right into it. They have a bunch of different things. I think I've had like the margarita here before, the passion margarita, and I remember it being pretty good. But if you'd like, you could take a look over that. But I don't think I'm going to get a specialty cocktail today. I think I'm going to go right on down to these specialty non-alcoholic beverages. They've got a bunch of them. This is like one of the few restaurants that they actually have like a handful of like actual non-alcoholic drinks. Not like the ones that, there's like ones that they have at like almost every restaurant, but these are actually unique ones. We've got the Purple Penguin, my favorite, a sparkling grapefruit soda, an old-fashioned orange soda float, and this Paradise Punch here. A lot of them are made with like a house-made seltzer, and like I said, I really love that Purple Penguin. Now, one of the main reasons that I will not be getting a specialty cocktail from the menu today is because I actually heard that they batch their cocktails here, and you guys know how I feel about a batch cocktail. I am just not a fan, especially when paying top dollar. Now, I don't know if this is like something that happens all the time or it just happens when they're busy. I'm not too sure, but my friend sat at the bar recently and got a $26 batched old fashioned, and I just can't get behind that. So I'm going to be skipping that today, and I'm going to be sticking with a non-alcoholic drink, but that's all good because I really like the non-alcoholic drinks here, like I said. I definitely had to go with my favorite non-alcoholic drink here, the Purple Penguin. This has pineapple, mango guava, lemon, lavender, grenadine, and a house-made seltzer for $7.50. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, hey, I've seen that drink before. Didn't it used to come in a cute penguin glass? And it did used to come in a cute penguin glass. And actually the last time I had this, which probably haven't been here in a year and a half, but that was the last time I had this drink here. It was served in the penguin glass, and that was kind of the big gimmick of it. And I thought like usually a drink with like a gimmick like a glass like that, it might not always be the best, but I loved the flavor of this drink, and unfortunately it no longer comes in that glass. I was so surprised when my server came and brought this over. I was like, wait, what happened to the penguin? I was hoping to show you guys that, but he let me know that unfortunately people were stealing them from their table, so they had to get rid of the glass, and now they're just serving them in the classic Disney glass. Look at that. I always love a drink in these Disney glasses. And by the way, off topic, I guess kind of on topic. If you do like these glasses here that they have at every Disney restaurant, they sell them in like TJ Maxx and Marshalls sometimes. Every time I go with my mom, I see it. I'm like, hey, those are those glasses. But enough of the yip yapping. Let's get to this drink here. I am telling you guys, this drink here is fantastic. Whether I was like wanting to drink alcohol or not, honestly, this is just so good. I would just get this drink here. You would think that like it's so fruity and so sweet with all those fruit juices in it, because it's a lot of fruit. There's a lot of juices mixed in here. What do we got? I know I already read it earlier, but pineapple, mango, guava, lemon, and lavender, and then grenadine. That's like a mix of a lot of different things, and you would think it could be overwhelmingly sweet, and it's just not that at all. It is perfectly sweet, perfect hints of kind of every one of those fruits, and then you've got a little bubbly on the back end. I absolutely love this drink. Now, if you did want to get this drink, but you wanted to get a little buzz as well, you are able to order this with alcohol. You just pay for the drink, and then you can get like a shot of whatever, and they're able to put it in here. You can choose any alcohol that you kind of want. So if you wanted a delicious drink, but you wanted to add some alcohol to this, you can always do that. Now, while we are on drinks, I figured it was the perfect time to kind of mention that there is also a bar here at Citricos. There's a couple of tables and then a bunch of like seats at the bar, of course. So you're able to come here, order food at the bar, order drinks at the bar, or get cocktails to go, whichever you prefer. This comes into play. It's very useful information because sometimes the line and the wait for a table at Enchanted Rose can be really, really long. So if you want to come and relax at a table or a chair or at the bar here, there's usually not that many people, and you can almost always find a seat. Or if you wanted to do something more casual than just like not the full sit down dinner and just wanted to taste a couple of things, the bar is always a great option for you.
Baked in-house daily, you have ciabatta bread and multigrain. Oh, these things change too. The multigrain bread is new and the butter is guava.
Ooh, guava butter.
Guava, yes.
Oh,
it's based
wow.
with guava, European style, but it's also unsalted. So we top it off with a little mild salt infused with Thai basil that we dehydrate, turn into a powder, and then mix it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it looks like we're on to our bread here. I usually love the bread at Disney's signature restaurants. It's always so good. You heard him. We have a ciabatta and a multi-grain, and then this new butter, a guava butter. And the attention to detail in this butter is just phenomenal. They dehydrate a Thai basil and kind of mix it in with Maldon salt to add on top of the butter, and that is the kind of detail that I love. Disney bread and butter is just unmatched, and I can't wait to try this one. Let's get right in here with a piece of the multi-grain bread. We're gonna get some butter right on here and try it. Holy cow, guys, this butter, I could literally just take a spoonful of this butter and eat it. That is how good this butter is. I love the guava flavor in there. And yeah, again, they're really taking the risk by adding a ton of guava flavor in there, but it is just phenomenal. I didn't taste much of the Thai basil in my first bite. I don't think I got a lot on the knifeful that I kind of got, but on that crunchy multi-grain bread, absolutely delicious. Here at the Grand Floridian, they always have great bread and butter, just like everywhere at Disney, like I said. But like the Grand Floridian, I feel like they love their citrus butters. Just below us at the Grand Floridian Cafe, they have like a citrus orange butter, and I love that. But man, I think this guava butter might be even better. The bread itself is super crispy, and then when mixed with that guava, I want to get a bunch of the Thai basil, the dehydrated Thai basil on there, and just a ton of that butter. It's fantastic. Well, so far this meal has just started off fantastic. The only problem I'm having so far, I'm more than halfway done with my drink here. I wish it came with free refills because it's just so tasty. Now I want to take a look over our options for our first course, our appetizer course here. There is some caviar, $120 and $145. As much as I would love that, we're not spending $145 on that today, guys. But there's some other stuff as well. Some spring pea and citrus arancini, braised pork belly, a sweet corn bisque, a seasonal salad, a Citricos house salad, some soy roasted duck breast, and then some hamachi. As far as the appetizers that are on the current menu go, a favorite of mine is definitely the seasonal salad. It has strawberries, goat cheese, and like a bacon vinaigrette. It is always so on point and so delicious. Honestly, one of the best salads in all of Disney World, if you ask me. But I still miss, who remembers? If you're like a Citricos OG like myself, you remember the flatbreads that they used to serve here. They had one with like sausage and maybe like broccolini. I have a very distinct memory of it. I can't remember exactly what was on it, but the flatbread that they used to serve here was phenomenal. And I really, really miss it. I used to get it every time I came, but like I said, with the retheme, they took so many things off of the menu that I loved and kind of replaced them with some other stuff. So I'm very, very sad, still missing my old favorites, but we're gonna get a handful of the new dishes here for the appetizers. Ultimately, for my appetizer, I decided to go with a little soup and a little salad here. So we're gonna try both, starting with, I think, the soup while it's hot. This here is the sweet corn bisque. It has roasted wild mushrooms, popcorn, and charred black truffle oil for $15. I had to get some truffle oil in this first bite and a piece of that popcorn, and let me just tell you, as soon as I went to kind of mix up that truffle oil and got a spoonful, it just erupted in scent, a good truffle scent. Let's try this out. I love the flavor of this soup, and usually when I see something corn on the menu, I am most likely going to be ordering it, and so it's no different here, and this corn soup is fantastic. It's sweet, it's creamy. I love the addition of that truffle oil on top. Who knew that truffle paired so well with corn? And texturally, I really like the addition of the popcorn on there. I almost wish there was a little bit more because the soup is kind of blended to be thin. There's not really like kernels of corn in the soup itself, but I like that little crunch that the popcorn kind of adds. It works really nicely together. And although it's like kind of sweet, this is a very, very rich soup. So I guess it's kind of good that the portion isn't too big. I'm not sure how much more I would actually be able to eat of this just because it is so creamy and rich. But yeah, like I said, I definitely order this again. I think they kind of change up the soup every now and again, so who knows what it'll be when you guys come. But if you see the sweet corn bisque, I recommend it. After that soup, we're onto the seasonal salad, which has compressed strawberries, chamomile-infused goat cheese, and bacon vinaigrette for $17. Well, similar to when there's something with corn on the menu, I'm ordering it. Whenever there's something with goat cheese, there is absolutely no doubt that I'm ordering it. We've got our big hunk of goat cheese in the middle here. It also looks like there's maybe some sunflower seeds, a ton of those strawberries, and I believe they've been soaked for like 24 hours in like vanilla. It just creates this fantastic flavor. Then our greens here have been tossed in the most delicious bacon vinaigrette. We've got to get a bite here with some of that goat cheese. I thought it was going to be a harder goat cheese, but no, it's definitely soft. We don't even need that knife here. We're going to get some. Oh yeah. And there's like some strawberry jam too with that. That's the bite right there. Yeah, let's get in there. This salad here is just so incredibly complex. The strawberries themselves are so sweet from soaking in that vanilla for 24 hours. The lettuce that they're using here is like a bitter kind of lettuce, but when it's tossed with that bacon vinaigrette, the bacon vinaigrette is able to kind of like shine and just create this fantastic saltiness here. When you get it all together with that goat cheese, man, the match here, match made in heaven with this salad, for real. And I feel like I've kind of had the same review for everything that I've tried so far, that all of the flavors in all of these dishes are things that maybe necessarily don't sound like they would go together, but they do here. Well, safe to say I nearly licked the plate clean with that one. It's starting to get dark outside and our view has kind of gone away. It's still definitely a nice view, but we're going to be on to our entrees, so we'll take a look over them now. Up top, we've got an oak grilled filet mignon. They've got a nice oak grill back there in the kitchen. The domestic fish of the day is a tile fish. They also have a plant-based ancient grain stew, a roulade of chicken, a coriander spiced cobia, a grilled pear char siu pork chop, as well as a Malbec Guava barbecued short rib. That's actually my favorite kind of wine. But I do have something else in mind for this dinner today. My friend Bethany is a massive fan of this place. She actually hosts a Disney food podcast called The Main Street Dish. So if you guys listen to podcasts, go check it out. The podcast is awesome. They talk about all things Disney food, and her podcast hosts absolutely love this roulade of chicken. So I definitely have to get it this time around. The only entree on the menu currently that I've had is the filet mignon, and I can confirm it is fantastic. It's really tasty. Is it better than the filet mignon down at Narcoossee's? I don't think so, but it's still a great option. It's really good. And like I said, they used to have that scallops risotto. The first time I ever came, it was with like a butternut squash risotto, and like I said, I still think about it to this day. And from my understanding, that was like the most popular dish on the menu. So I don't know why they took it away. But the day that scallops risotto comes back to this restaurant, I will be here waiting at the door at 5 o'clock to come in because I miss it so much. Now we also have some enhancements that you could add onto your entree. There's a truffle mac and cheese, a grilled butifarra, which I believe is a sausage, and then also a smoked cauliflower. In terms of the enhancements, I have had one of the enhancements before, the truffle mac and cheese. And I actually think that was on my worst, I actually think that was number 1 on my worst foods I ate in 2022 list. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I had that in the number 1 spot. If not, it was like 2, 3, 4, or 5. But I hated it last time I tried it, which is weird because I love mac and cheese and I love truffles. It wasn't much of a mac and cheese as it was a truffle cream sauce with like little gnocchi in it. But I'm determined to try it again because, like I said, maybe my tastes have changed and I really didn't like it back then. So I'm curious to see if maybe it was just an off day or, like I said, my tastes have changed. Who knows? So I think I'm going to order that too. Well, everything is looking really, really good here, except for maybe this truffle mac and cheese. I'm really, really scared to try it out because of my last experience. So I think we'll start with the chicken. This here is the roulade of chicken. It has a charred creamed corn, orange glazed hush puppies, a Chardonnay mushroom chicken jus, and seasonal vegetables for $41. This chicken here is looking so incredibly juicy and good. Like I said, this came highly recommended, so I am so psyched to try it. We'll cut ourselves a good hunk here. And look at that kind of like crust that's on the outside of this chicken. It's kind of a nice like crusty chicken skin. It should have a lot of flavor. I've been waiting quite a long time to try this out, so let's go for it. As predicted, this chicken is just so juicy and flavor packed. The jus on there really adds a hint of mushroom that I enjoy. The skin, like predicted, super flavorful. This is a bit heavy on the salt, I will say. And another thing I'm kind of realizing, this reminds me of Costco rotisserie chicken, but like in the best way possible. Like, you know how Costco chicken is so juicy and that skin just has a great flavor? I don't know what it is. This is just really, really reminding me of Costco rotisserie chicken, but like an elevated version of that. This chicken is definitely very juicy as well. And the way they kind of cook the chicken is they roll the breast in with like the thighs and stuff, and it's covered in like a mushroom ash, they said. So that's kind of that black stuff that you're seeing inside of the chicken, and I believe probably on the outside on the skin as well. Unfortunately, the more that I'm eating this chicken here, the more salt that I'm realizing is kind of in this dish. And I'm like, whoa. And last time I had a chicken dish at Raglan Road, it was so salty as well. So I don't know what kind of luck I'm having with the chicken here at Disney restaurants, but they can't seem to control the salt whenever I order chicken. It's good. And I know this is probably just like a mishap and they accidentally oversalted it, but I imagine with less salt, I would like this a lot more. I want to get into this hush puppy here. It has a charred creamed corn on the bottom there and some leaves. I will say my hush puppy knowledge starts and ends at Columbia Harbor House. I think those are probably the only hush puppies I've ever had. It almost kind of tastes like cornbread that's been covered in honey. It's very sweet, and it's almost a little bit dry, just like cornbread as well. Not sure if I really, it's not bad, but like I'm not sure if I really care for those hush puppies there. I'm gonna grab a Brussels sprout, I guess that's our seasonal veggie, and kind of dip it in that creamed corn. That creamed corn tastes exactly like the corn bisque that I had earlier. Honestly, it might be the same. It tastes the same, if not very similar, but that part is good. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, it is time for me to be confronted with one of the worst foods of, I think, 2022. Let's try out this truffle mac and cheese. This truffle mac and cheese here has house-made gnocchetti, summer black truffles, a tartufo, and tarragon for $23. And the chef recommends you give it a good old stir before enjoying, so that's exactly what we're gonna do here. I'm not sure what this green stuff out here kind of is, but we'll get it all incorporated. It honestly looks like matcha. We've got our pasta in there, we've got mushrooms, and Like I said, this is more of a mushroom cream sauce than a mac and cheese. Let's go for it. This is definitely not as bad as I remembered, and I'm very happy about that. I even went in for a second bite, so you know it must not be that bad. You've got the little gnocchi pasta in there, and then like I said, it's a mushroom cream sauce. This is not a mac and cheese, and I think that's where this dish kind of goes wrong. I think it has the wrong name, because this is not a truffle mac and cheese. This is a truffle or a mushroom soup pasta. Mushroom soup with pasta. That's exactly what it tastes like. They have a mushroom soup over at Storybook Dining at Artist Point at Wilderness Lodge, and I really like the mushroom soup there. This kind of tastes similar, just mixed in with whole mushrooms and those little pastas there. Now, I'm not fully getting all of that truffle flavor that you usually get with a truffle dish. It more so just tastes like regular old mushrooms, which is kind of disappointing since this is $23 for this tiny little cup here of mac and cheese, but it's not awful. It's not awful. I would never get it again, probably. Now that I've tried it a second time and I don't hate it as much, I would probably never get this again, or I couldn't recommend it for $23 because I'm not getting much truffle in here. And it's also very, very heavy on the mushroom flavor, let me tell you. It's not just like a hint of truffle, a hint of mushroom. It is like full-on mushroom in your face. So if you like mushrooms, you might like this here. Me, I could definitely do without. Like I said, I wouldn't get it again. Well, with that, we are on to desserts, and all of this stuff is new to me. They change this stuff up quite often, and I haven't seen any of this stuff before. They have a profiterole trio, a guava cheese fusion, a macchiato dessert, a praline coconut tart, and then some cheese. I was between the macchiato and the guava cheese fusion, but I ultimately decided to go with that guava cheese fusion. This has a guava mousse, a goat cheese cheesecake, pistachio, chantilly, and a guava gel for $12. This dessert here is so beautiful. I almost don't want to dive into it, and notice how I said almost, because we definitely are. Let's get a bite here. Oh, it's a hard shell. Oh, it's definitely cold. Oh, there we go. Wow, look at, there's like a guava filling in the center there. They're just on a guava kick here at Citricos. A ton of that guava flavor. The cheesecake is super soft. I think it's covered in chocolate, probably some white chocolate dyed purple. And white chocolate always just tastes a little waxy to me, I guess you could say. And I know they are making all of these desserts in-house because they actually have like a whole dessert dedicated kitchen on the side, which I will show you on my way out. However, this tastes like a dome cake. And you guys know the Disney dome cakes are just, I can't do a Disney dome cake. And I really want to like this, but it's really just like a soft mousse, very little cheese flavor, and then you got that gel on the inside. It's so similar to a dome cake, guys. And I know you guys always like to see the bill at the end of my meal, so here's a look. $110 plus tip that I'm going to add. I also got a 10% annual pass holder discount here. Well, I promise you guys a look at the dessert kitchen area over here on the way out. And here you go. It looks like that's the macchiato dessert that I missed out on. It definitely looks a bit better than the one I got. But yeah, they're cooking up everything fresh right back there. And over there, that guy's the one making the salads. Oh man, guys, it's chilly out here. I just came outside. We obviously just finished dinner at Citricos. And I'm gonna kind of break everything down for you. At the end of the day, you really cannot go wrong dining at any restaurant at the Grand Floridian. Whether it's, you hear the fireworks going off, but whether it's the cafe, the quick service, Narcoossee's, Citricos, the Enchanted Rose, Victoria and Albert's, you are going to have a fantastic meal. And my meal tonight at Citricos was really, really good. Of course, my drink I loved. I would go out of my way to get that drink. If I'm drinking around the monorail resorts and stuff, I would, whether you're adding alcohol to it or not, I would stop and get that purple penguin drink. The appetizers were really good as well. I, of course, love that salad. I feel like that's definitely a must order, at least for me when I go there. The corn bisque was really good as well. The entree was a tad disappointing just because of the salt level. I feel like it could have been controlled a bit more, but like I said, that dish was really, really good, and I would still order it again. Now, I'm under the impression that they kind of change that up seasonally, so they sometimes change the sides and the sauces and that kind of thing. So I'd be curious to go back and try it again with like different sides, because I didn't really care for the sides that the chicken this time around was served with, and I imagine that chicken being really, really tasty if it was salted properly. And even with the extreme amount of salt, it was really good. I also ordered the truffle mac and cheese, which I went into it knowing I wasn't going to be the biggest fan, and I was pleasantly surprised. Still not necessarily my favorite thing or worth it, but it was okay. Dessert was probably the biggest letdown of the meal. The goat cheesecake, guava cheese fusion, whatever it was a dome cake, just in bar form. So I definitely think I misordered with the dessert, but overall, the meal was really good. Do I think Citricos is better than Narcoossee's? Short answer, no. And I know a lot of people are always like, well, if you're a seafood eater, go to Narcoossee's. If you don't care for seafood, go to Citricos. And that's definitely a valid case. There's far more seafood on the menu at Narcoossee's than there are like chicken, steak, pork options, but I do feel the non-seafood options over at Narcoossee's are better than the non-seafood options over at Citricos. I think the filet, the steak at Narcoossee's is so phenomenal. I think it is the best filet on property, and while I do like Citricos filet, I just think Narcoossee's is a lot better. And then also at Narcoossee's, I love the brisket tortellini appetizer. That is phenomenal. No seafood in either of those dishes, and I think both of those dishes are better than everything I've had tonight, at least tonight at Citricos. So for me, the winner in the Citricos versus Narcoossee's debate is clear. I'm going Narcoossee's any day of the week. It is my favorite restaurant in all of Disney World property, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments whether you're team Citricos or team Narcoossee's and why. And none of this is to discredit Citricos. I still think Citricos is a fantastic restaurant. I really like the experience there. The service was really good, as was the food. You could tell the kind of thought that went into all that food, and I really, really enjoyed it. I will be back way more often than I was before this, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out as well if you're looking for like a nice meal here at the Grand and you didn't want to go to Narcoossee's. Well, that is going to do it for us this evening at the Grand Floridian. Thank you so much to everyone who kind of pushed me to review this restaurant. I know it's been a long time coming. I don't know how I haven't made a video at Citricos sooner, but I'm glad it finally happened tonight. I've also got to shout out all of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you yourself enjoy honest Disney food reviews, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.